The International Student and Scholar Services at the University of Southern Mississippi holds a special event to celebrate its students.
The national changes in diversity, equity, and inclusion hit USM's campus, what this means for students and faculty.
Learn about a loophole allowing pet owners in our state to abandon animals within their care without facing repercussions.
Catch up on how our Golden Eagle basketball team is handling their recent games before approaching the Sun Belt tournament.
These stories plus our SMTV 6-day forecast.
SMTV News for February 27th starts now.
From the Chuck Scarborough Television Studio on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi, this is SMTV News. News you can use.
Hello USM, thank you for joining us. I'm Kennedy Drake.
And I'm Gabby Cox. USM students frequently lean on energy drinks to get them through the demands of school.
That's right, I spoke with a few students here at USM about the health risk. After long nights filled with work and school, people may look for something to keep them awake. Energy drinks are commonly used by college students due to stressful workloads and poor sleep schedules.
I did it just to get me through. It was like I had to have it or I felt like I couldn't get through my day.
According to the National Institute of Health, energy drinks can negatively affect your heart, nervous system, sleep, and several more factors.
I had to stop drinking them because I started having heart palpitations, and I developed an adrenaline sensitivity.
Students say the main reason they indulge in energy drinks is due to heavy workloads and easy access on campus. While some experience health issues from the drink, others have a more positive experience.
I could drink one before I go to sleep and sleep perfectly fine throughout the night.
But the side effects all depends on the person.
I went to class and I was shaking and I was so alert but also not at all, and it was a weird experience. I was very faint.
The National Institution of Health says the caffeine stimulates the heart by increasing adrenaline levels. This could lead to high blood pressure. The combination of caffeine and sugar can disrupt the body's normal energy levels, leading to fatigue or weight gain. But of course, these effects vary by person.
I have ADHD somewhat, so it calms me down more than it speeds me up.
While energy drinks may offer a quick fix for exhaustion, they come with potential health risk. Whether students experience negative side effects or feel unaffected, experts recommend moderation to avoid long-term consequences. Balancing energy and health can be a challenge, something for students to keep in mind as they power through the semester.
More than 150 students, faculty, and professional journalists from across the state came together on Thursday to meet the staff of the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center on USM's campus. The event showcased some of the 40 news stories about how South Mississippi already produced, as well as community events held to teach each media literacy. According to the center director, Nicole Seifrin, these students are able to learn skills to make a change in communities where there's no local news.
A lot of times, you focus on the big cities, right? But there are stories everywhere. And what we want the students to understand is that, you can be the difference maker. You can be the one who's telling those stories. And not only that, but be able to learn and have something on your portfolio.
Seifrin said the center is striving to be a voice to the voiceless. To read more about what the center is doing and see their stories, visit rhcjcnews.com.
There have been many sports legends who have come through Southern Miss, but there's one currently here, and she's reflecting on her legacy here at Southern Miss. She has several owned titles from the USA Athletic Conference. SMTV's Alvia Walker got the chance to interview the soon-to-be basketball legend.
Some players play the game, and others redefine it. Malia Grayson isn't just a competitor. She is a trailblazer, setting new standards and leaving a legacy that will be here at Southern Miss for generations to come. Malia Grayson was born and raised here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Growing up, Grayson was into almost every sport you can imagine, but basketball is what caught her eye.
So I'll say I started playing basketball probably in the 5th, 6th grade. I started with like upward ball, and I was just doing it at first just to do it. But once I finally started to realize, like, I'm catching on to it like pretty fast, so I was like, I'm gonna go and try out for the middle school and stuff like that. So I got engaged with that, and I started with AAU ball. So it just ever since then I was just getting better and better and better. So I was like, yeah, I think I can really do this. But at first I was stuck on softball.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I heard that you played volleyball though.
Volleyball too.
Okay.
Now I started playing that 11th grade, but I wasn't able. I played my 11th grade year, but I wasn't able to play my senior year. It sucked,
Yeah.
but it was all good though.
Grayson had the opportunity to move away from home by getting an offer from Ole Miss her sophomore year. But family and the city of Hattiesburg meant more to her than anything.
The reason I chose to stay back home and to be able to, stay in my city was because, for one, my whole family is here, and two, when I came here on a visit, I just felt the instant, connection with the coaches, team, and everybody like that. Felt like I could build a great relationship with them on and off the court. And also, just to be able to, show the youth also, like, that they can do the same thing here, the same place, or really anywhere. If they want to, whatever they want to do in life, they can do it.
As Malia closes out her career here, she reflects on what she left here at Southern Miss.
I've already kind of, started leaving it actually, because, like, with me being in my hometown, just showing like other people that they can do the same thing, like I said earlier. So, just trying to leave an impact on everybody that I've played with, been around here at the school, other people that want to eventually come here, that's either here or nearby cities or stuff like that, but just want to leave a legacy of that.
Alvia Walker, SMTV.
As more chapters are added to Malia Grayson's career, there is no question that her legacy will be engraved in the history of Southern Miss. Grayson's unforgettable moments on the court and impact off has set a standard that future generations will follow.
Accolades and records all points to a player who loved the game enough to give everything to it. It's clear that Grayson will be remembered as not only a great player, but a legend of Southern Miss sports.
International students at Southern Miss were treated to a warm welcome last week.
The International Student and Scholar Services, along with the International Student Advisory Board, hosted a special event to bring students together. The International Welcome Dinner was held at the Baptist Student Union on campus Thursday, February 20th. The event provided a welcoming space for international students, their peers, and community members to connect. Attendees enjoyed a variety of dishes representing different cultures, which allowed students to share a taste of home while also experiencing new flavors. Additionally, the event featured performances and opportunities for students from diverse backgrounds to build friendships.
And I really like how everyone wants to learn more about different cultures, and this dinner resembles with that because we have a lot of participants, and I think it is really important that everyone is really excited to learn about different cultures, which is why I really love
in Mississippi, especially because we are an affordable R1 university. We attract some of the best and brightest students from around the world, so I do feel really lucky, and we're very supported here on campus.
Organizers aim to host more events that strengthen the overall campus community.
As the spring semester continues, college students may find themselves facing mental health struggles. Reporter Stephanie Perez Munoz has ways to approach improving mental health.
Students face many challenges during the spring semester. National Certified Counselor and Provisional Licensed Professional Counselor Kinsley May says students go through academic burnout.
Academic burnout is a thing because you've been through so much in your fall semester. And if it's your first year as a college student, your academic fall semester is a lot to take in.
May also recommends students different methods to relieve academic stress.
Meditation or deep breathing, coloring the coloring book, taking your mind away from academics. Do something that you're not always pressured to feel like you have to focus on school so much. And the last thing I would say is seek support. If it's with the teacher of your choice, a mentor, a therapist.
Sophomore biological sciences major Vinnie Halsey explains how her seasonal depression affects her course load during the semester.
Maybe it comes from the sort of seasonal depression, but coming out of January and February, my mental health is kind of an all-time low for the year. So it's not really helpful when it's combined with trying to pick up new information.
You can text hello to 751741 to connect with a trained crisis counselor. Stephanie Perez-Munoz, SMTV.
Coming up on SMTV News, President Trump's statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
Also, anchor Z Gary has your weather report updates for the upcoming spring break. SMTV Weather Report is next.
I don't think I have ever seen like in U.S. media like this is how El Salvador celebrates Christmas.
There's a lot of great American holidays. Thanksgiving, Halloween, Arbor Day. But if I had to pick my number one, it would have to be Pi Day.
Right now it's about making sure those traditions are alive and we still get that happiness and I'll say more of nostalgia of what we miss back home.
Here we started celebrating it with the students and then we took some chance and we started celebrating it, and until now everyone loves celebrating it with us. So I think the community is a very good thing at USM.
Hi Golden Eagles, it's Z Gary again with your weekly SMTV weather report. With the weather finally turning up, the heat, we have a beautiful week ahead of us as we start our spring break / Mardi Gras season. So let's jump right into it. Starting with today's weather, we see a lush high of 75 degrees between 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and a drastic low of 41 degrees around 12 a.m. with a few clouds to signify that spring is in fact coming. Now on to our 6-day weather forecast. Friday continues that warm spring-like weather with a high being 75 degrees followed by a 45-degree low. As for everyone's favorite break in schedule, we see a jump in the temperature for the better as we get a high of 79 on Saturday and a low of 43, but that high is taken from us just as quickly as it came when we see the temperature drop on Sunday to a high of 67 and a low of 41. This trend carries us into the spring break as temperatures slightly rise on Monday with the high being 72 and the low coming in at 55 degrees. But just like these unpredictable midterms, we see a jump on Tuesday as a welcoming high of 78 degrees and a streak-breaking low of 60. Then just like that, we drop back down to a high of 73 and a low of 43 on Wednesday. We have to worry about rain this week with a 47% chance of precipitation on Tuesday and a 41% chance on Wednesday. You can stress yourself out about that or prepare for yourself for a fun, semi-sunny spring break. Thank you for joining me. This has been Z Gary with your SMTV Weather Report.
Thanks, Z. I look forward to gearing up for the spring break weather. Now, this next story, diversity, equity, and inclusion concepts are rooted in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, aiming at creating fair and inclusive spaces for all. But today, DEI stands at a crossroads in America. On January 23rd, the U.S. Department of Education dismantled DEI initiatives following President Trump's executive orders targeting what he labeled illegal discrimination and wasteful spending. The ripple effect reached the University of Southern Mississippi, with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion quietly being renamed the Office of Community and Belonging, followed by the university's mission statement being altered, removing the word diversity and placing that diversity statement further into the document.
So I think the problem locally is that our program by that name was changed. It still exists, but has a different name. It has the idea of inclusiveness. But what puzzles me is why there's such strong political support for any efforts to not try to encourage improvement or more opportunity for minorities that haven't reached a level that other whites may have obtained. Right. That is an old echo, and it comes, as I mentioned, all the way from the Civil War to today. I think it's a lot better just kind of relax, and it's done a lot of good, and why not continue those programs by one.
As the landscape of American education shifts, the question remains, what happens when institutions step back from diversity, equity, and inclusion? The answer will shape the future of higher education and the values it upholds.
Coming up later in the show, SMTV Sports has an extensive recap for you on our basketball, softball, and baseball teams.
But up next, we have Stephanie Perez-Munoz with our community calendar, featuring events throughout Hattiesburg.
Hi, I'm Leland Melvin, and I traveled to space twice as a NASA astronaut. Space technologies help protect our precious Earth. Space helps us monitor changes in carbon emissions, track the pace of climate change. It even helps us fight natural disasters. Make sure that you get out to your local science museum or go to spaceforall.us to explore and learn about space and science. Space is for all.
The great thing about a hearing check? No one makes you drink weird stuff, or drills your teeth, or dilates your eyes. It's just soothing me time in a quiet booth. Then bam, you can do the happy dance, because you're all done.
Untreated hearing loss puts you at greater risk for depression and anxiety. So what's holding you back? Let's see a hearing professional and get those ears checked. And let's dance.
Welcome back, USM. My name is Stephanie Perez Munoz with your community calendar update. Let's get right into it. After 102 years of service, Coney Island Cafe will be closing their doors this Friday. They will be open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go out and enjoy one last meal with them. The Hattiesburg Zoo Renaissance Festival will be happening this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. The two-day event will last from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Tickets online will be $6 for kids and $8 for adults. But at the ticket booth, prices will go up to $10 for kids and $12 for adults. It is encouraged to dress up, so put on your best costume and enjoy. Also on Saturday, the 14th annual Hattiesburg Karis Mardi Gras Parade will be at 1 p.m. The parade will proceed along Hardy Street and along the University of Southern Mississippi all the way to North 39th Avenue. This is the perfect time to go out and yell, "Throw me something, mister," and catch some beads. After spring break on March 12th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Spirit Park, SMAC will be hosting a mental health day. This is a chance to listen to some good music, eat some food, and play some games. Go out and relax with some friends. Well, that's all I have for you for this community calendar update. I'm Stephanie Perez Munoz. Happy Mardi Gras and see you next time, Southern Miss.
Each week, SMTV News partners with the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center to bring you stories on a wide range of topics impacting people and communities in the Southeast Mississippi.
The center is based in College Hall on the USM campus in Hattiesburg, with news bureaus at the USM Gulf Park campus in Long Beach and at the state capitol, in Jackson.
This week's story looks at the legal loophole for pet owners. Right now, many animal shelters in Mississippi are at full capacity. For people who need to surrender their pets, it creates a crossroad, one that often ends with those abandoned pets dying or being caught by animal control.
But with no clear law defining animal abandonment, those responsible are rarely held accountable. Justin Glowacki takes us to Jackson County to break down what it means for shelters and the animals left behind.
Mississippi does not explicitly define animal abandonment as a crime, something Joseph Barlow, director of the Jackson County Animal Shelter, sees the impact of firsthand.
You've got a call that a homeowner has found 4 puppies on their property when they got up in the morning that they didn't own and have never seen before, and that's all we know.
By the time animal control arrives, there's rarely a trace to who left them behind.
Well, it's the complete anonymity of what happens, the crime. People weren't completely stupid. I mean, what they're doing is choosing times, locales that are really, again, go back to the anonymity.
And even when there is a lead, Mississippi's lack of clear laws makes prosecution difficult.
It's a situation where probably 1 out of 10 cases where you would have any leads to go on who did it. And when you do and you can identify that, you're still not talking about criminal charges, but you're talking about charges in justice court, court date, fines associated with it, yeah.
Legal experts say Mississippi is an outlier when it comes to animal protection laws.
And Mississippi actually doesn't have any laws explicitly addressing animal abandonment. There are some provisions around animal neglect that may apply depending on the situation, but the laws don't explicitly address abandoning an animal.
The Animal Legal Defense Fund ranks Mississippi 46th in the nation for animal protection laws, citing major gaps in regulation. Advocates say statewide laws defining animal abandonment would help hold pet owners accountable, but until then, shelters and animal control officers are left to deal with the consequences. I'm Justin Glowacki, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
Wood also says that Mississippi could benefit from looking at states with stronger animal protection laws. For stories like these and more, you can find them at rhcjcnews.com.
Coming up next in sports, Gabe Calhoun is here to tell you about how our softball team is progressing through the season.
And then a special look into senior night for our basketball team. SMTV Sports is next.
Community Journalism Center, amplifying truth and combating false information across Southeast Mississippi, reporting what matters and giving control to the community. With our What is True hotline, we're fighting back against misinformation and disinformation, making sure our communities get the facts straight from the source. Through trusted journalism and a dedicated fact-checking process, we ensure every story is accurate and fair. The Roy Howard Community Journalism Center at the University of Southern Mississippi, reporting what matters through the Scripps Howard Foundation. Visit rhcjcnews.com.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
What's going on, Golden Eagles? I'm Gabe Calhoun, your SMTV sports anchor. We have an action-packed segment for y'all, so let's get right into it. Starting off with some hoops. Our Golden Eagles celebrated senior night last Saturday. There wasn't a whole lot to celebrate as the Golden Eagles would lose a close one to the University of Louisiana with the score of 62-60. But not all was bad as the Eagles came ready to play, with Denaje Harris recording a double-double and Natalie Alvarez also adding double digits to the score column. This week, the Golden Eagles will play their last two regular season games before heading to Pensacola, Florida for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. As for the ladies, they traveled to San Marcos, Texas to take on the Lady Bobcats. The Eagles started off slow but caught fire in the fourth quarter. However, that flame was quickly extinguished as the ladies would fall 62-57 despite an effort of a comeback. The Lady Golden Eagles have two more regular season games as well before heading to Pensacola, just like the men, where they look to make a run in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Digging into the diamond, the USM Lady Eagles softball season continues as they travel to Baton Rouge for the LSU Invitational. Tough would be the word to describe this weekend for the ladies as they would go 1-3 on the weekend and did not get to play their last game on Sunday due to weather in the area. The Golden Eagles will start their own Invitational this Friday as they kick off their first game at 11:30. Staying on the diamond, the Golden Eagles baseball team was in action on Tuesday to take on in-state rival Ole Miss in Oxford. The moment might have been too big at Swayze Field for the Eagles as they would fall 15-8. The Golden Eagles will be back this weekend, traveling to Fort Worth, Texas to take on the TCU Horned Frogs in a 3-game series starting on Saturday. We have a special Player of the Week segment, as it is not a player, but a mentor, a friend, and also a fighter. Our SMTV Player of the Week goes out to Coach Joy Lee McGillis, as she's retiring as head women's basketball coach and is leaving behind a storied career. Thank you, Coach Joy. This has been your SMTV Sports segment, and as always, Southern Miss to the top.
Thank you, Gabe, for letting us know about our Golden Eagle sports activities. And now I know that spring break is coming up for USM students. Gabby, what do you have planned?
I hope to see some of my family and friends, and I really want to do some spring shopping. What about you, Kennedy?
Well, I can't go home just yet because I'm a resident assistant, so I have to take care of a few students here, and then I'll get to go home and have some fun activities planned for me.
Sounds good.
Well, this wraps up this episode of SMTV. Thank you so much for watching SMTV News. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to Southern Miss Student Media. You can also find us on Instagram at sm2.com. If you would like to submit a news tip, email us at sm2news@usm.edu.
Remember to pick up the latest copy of the Student Prince newspaper, available on campus and at locations across Hattiesburg. You can get SMTV News on demand and additional SMTV programs and WUSM Radio anytime on our website, sm2media.com. That's it for SMTV News this week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Gabby Cox.
And I'm Kennedy Drake. Always remember, Southern Miss to the top.